Yo, what's good my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned. Today we are going to be talking about more features they could add to the game so that the game could be absolutely cracked. I feel like that video got received decently well and I feel like people wanted a part 2. But I got bum rushed with so much content from the Japanese and global versions that I did not have time to get this video recorded, but we are finally here. We are finally getting to work on it. And guys, I got some good ones for you today. Instead of more so like regular gacha game aspects, I did try to also dip into the side of things that was like, okay, how is this gonna look when they transfer it from the show over to the game? But if you guys like videos like this, you can go down below and sacred treasure summon Maharaga on the like button. Yes, it was a convoluted scheme, but we made it. And you can also comment down below, let me know what other features you want to see. Also, recommend this video to other content creators, see if they agree with some of these ideas. Maybe we can get more people talking about it. Maybe we can get Billy to fold and follow our will, do our bidding. But you guys can also subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm gonna stop holding you up, we're gonna get right into it. First thing that we absolutely need fixed in this game is our stamina system. Some people might say the first thing that we need fixed is probably the pity system, but I argue that the stamina system is so much more important because the stamina system determines how much you can grind in one sitting. Because if you guys don't know, after you use AP packs to fill up your stamina, it costs 80 cubes per refill for the first 3 refills. I think I can press to show you. Yes, first 3 refills. They're all going to recover your stamina by 100, but first 3 refills cost 80 cubes, second 3 refills cost 120 cubes, next 7 refills cost 200 cubes, next 7 after that cost 300, and then the last 7 you can do for the day cost 400. So let me do some math real quick for you, and by let me do some math, I mean let my calculator do some math for you. So guys, if you wanted to refill your stamina the complete amount of times that you could in a day, and this right here, this amount of refills is 30,000 stamina. 33,000 stamina? 3,000 stamina, 100 times 30? Yes. So, if you wanted to do all these stamina refills in the day, it would cost you 6,900 cubes. Isn't it insane that they have a system for you to eat? And people probably don't think about it because it starts out at 80 and then it just builds up over time. It's crazy to me that we get like story events and map events and all this, and all of those things provide us like literally right under what we need for a multi. But then something like the stamina refill system, you have it so limited and it costs us more than 2 multis to use all of our refills, all of our replenishes for the day. Whereas you have other games like Dokkan that give you items specifically for filling up your stamina, or Grand Cross, you have AP pods, or even Black Clover Mobile, they literally give you stamina away in chests. But this game is so stingy with stamina, I've never seen anything like it. And Slug, Brother Lord Slug, always says that this game is like a side game. He is absolutely correct. The stamina is literally the only reason it's a side game though. I don't think that there's still enough like content for everybody to be constantly like going back up against, because I'm gonna be real, I've beaten everything in the game, and the only stuff that's really worth me like kind of like going back is for me to like go in and use gimmicky teams against certain things just to say that I did it. Like I did my first year Tokyo students versus, you know, formidable foe battles. Like cool, that's just something that I felt like doing. Literally, if you look at the illusory tower or you look at the limited floors, I have all of them like beaten and everything. And guys, I'm sorry, I was slacking on the limited floors this month. It kind of caught me by surprise. I randomly beaten them one day, and I just didn't think to make the video because so many other people already made videos and everything. But I do understand the importance of, even if you have to like use somebody else's strat, I do understand the importance of getting the team out there and spreading it. But still, there's not really any like in-game content right now. I think the first like real form of in-game content is probably Cursed Sweep Battle. Tower, again, kind of doesn't count in my opinion, because yes, it is really hard to do and they constantly update it, but the time length they go without updating it, you can definitely beat all the, if you already had all the floors beat prior, you can definitely beat all the next set of floors before the next set of floors comes out. So definitely give us more stamina, even if you upped it to like 250 or something. Bro, one mission that I kind of am irritated with now is this mission right here, because this mission pretty much requires you to have full stamina at the start of the day, which you never want to let your stamina, it's stupid, right? You never want to let your stamina sit, so you never want your stamina to get exactly to 200. You always want to check it when it's like close to 200, so you can make sure you get a big farm in. but also make sure that you maximize how much farming you're doing in one sitting, if that makes sense, right? So if I never want my stamina to hit 200 because I don't want it to just sit here in overflow, which honestly I'm probably gonna have to let it sit up to 200. Nah, I could probably do cursed object collection or something, because by the time I'm live streaming, I'm about to live stream after this, by the time I live stream, my stamina will be at 200, or it will be trying to overflow, which it can't. They need to either add a bigger stamina cap, an escrow system, or just give us an item that refills stamina. But besides the AP, like, we have an item that refills the stamina, but these come far and few in between. We barely get these free to play. The aged meats in Dokkan, you get free to play all the damn time. The stamina pots that you get in Grand Cross, you can literally go trade rare characters for it. So literally, they just need to make these easier to get. They need to add these to the exchange shop or something, bro. I don't know. But point that I was making about this mission here is that every day I'm trying to keep my stamina from not being at 200 because I don't want it to just be full and sitting there. So every day when I do this mission, it's always at like 190. Even if I let my stamina sit up to full or close to full, say I'm not paying attention and it does get all the way to 200. Even when it gets all the way to 200, I start at 390. And I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the time I'm not thinking about that last over 10 stamina there, and then I can walk away or something like that. Now, somebody like me, I am hard focusing it, and I am making sure I get my 400 AP in every day, or at least I'm getting my 5 daily missions. But I mean, typically I am getting the 400 AP because I'm trying to min-max my cubes, and you can see that even though it's just 10 cubes, it's still cubes. Together, this is all 30 cubes. But my whole point is, if they just gave us like a 250, you know, stamina system at the very least, just 250, right? I'd be able to do like 240, over 200 stamina in the first little bit, and then before my stamina even fills up, I'd be able to complete the mission. And honestly, I really make this argument because if I'm paying this close attention, and sometimes I get close to missing that mission, I know a lot of free-to-play players, a lot of casuals and everything are missing that mission. And guys, again, 30 cubes is just 30 cubes, yes. But when you need 3,000, every single cube counts. I rest my case on the stamina system. We need more of it. I'm gonna move on to the next point. Next update, I would love to see them update Dispatch. Dispatch has been like this forever. I'm pretty sure if I go into the JP version right now as well, Dispatch is gonna look exactly the same. Just these 4 basic stages right here. And there's nothing wrong with Dispatch. It's an idle game mode, but I mean, like, even though it's an idle game mode and you're not really asking me to do anything, you still are asking me to come in here and remember to like set it up every single day. It's gonna get to a point where the rewards feel so infinitesimal from this that like I'm just gonna forget to do this. I'm certain. Like, bro, I hear people say they forget to do a lot of essential things in the game. It is insane to me that people not forget to do domain investigation, but literally just choose not to do domain investigation because they think it's irritating. Bro, is it irritating to get skill upgrade materials? Is it irritating to get phantom medals? Is it irritating to get domain investigation medals? No, it is not. But the game mode is irritating, so you're just gonna not do it? That's crazy. So I know people aren't coming to do Dispatch every single day, bro. Dispatch is so infinitesimal. Bro, like, it's so far out of your mind, and when you go to the quest screen, obviously all of the important stuff is right here. Sometimes you notice the Dispatch all the way over here, but like, put it somewhere closer over here, at least a little bit. But what do I mean by update Dispatch? Not just moving it to a place where it's more visible and it reminds you more. Make the rewards more worth it. The main reward here is experience. The main reward here is JP, the recollection bits, and then these right here. Okay, cool. You can make the main reward on one. I don't know. I mean, bro, domain investigation medals. I know you get domain investigation medals from domain investigation, but like, just give me more of them on the side, bro. It's just like, how much of this shit are you giving us that it's like, oh, we need to give you just this basic bare amount? Like, no, dude. Give us some cursed object collection materials. Give us some domain investigation medals. Shit, throw in some phantom medals, bro, because like, those free-to-play characters are expensive. And if they're gonna add Dagon during the Shibuya incident, which I have a strong feeling they will, if they're gonna add Dagon during the Shibuya incident, bro, and Dagon's good, like, just start giving us phantom medals in more places. The only places we can get phantom medals are literally buying them directly from the secret shop, doing domain investigation, and honestly, even on double drops, the phantom medals that you get are dog shit. And then from formidable battle against enemies, or imaginary battles, what everybody was calling it when it was on JP and they didn't have a translation. But even still, the amount of medals that you get from formidable battles for the difficulty that it is, I don't think is really just. I don't think it's fair, because not everybody can beat like that final level, right? But it's just like, And honestly, you don't have to beat the final level to farm out all the phantom medals. But even still, once you start to get up to the higher levels where you would want to farm them, they can get a little difficult for maybe like free-to-play players. I still can't auto battle, you know, the special grade stage. If there's anybody who can auto farm the special grade stage, please let me know. But I can still auto farm like some of the very hard stages. But even still, bro, just give us more stuff with this. I know I'm kind of branching out and talking about other things, but I'm just like, yo, if we need other stuff, there are very simple ways to put them in the game for us to get them. And this is one of those ways. Like, dude, nobody cares about dispatch. Just update dispatch. Like, it's like, while nobody cares about dispatch, if you update it the right way, then people would care about dispatch. I'm pretty sure all these take 10 hours. I never knew that this had a whole like little system to it and everything, but I didn't know this takes 10 hours, right? What they could do is lower these to 4 to like 8 hours maybe, because they've been in the game for eons, and then add another like 4. Like, bro, if you look at the Shibuya incident stuff that just came through, you notice that they added a bunch of new backgrounds for like the main page. But honestly, there were different settings all across the Shibuya incident. You had all the different stations. You had actually like Shibuya and everything. They were moving around a lot in the city. So it's just like, we have a lot of extra settings that we can have people doing, you know, dispatch in. Because literally, they sent a bunch of sorcerers to go and exercise curses all around. Makes perfect sense for dispatch. Give us more rewards. But I say they can make like 4 more pages of this, make those 4 10 hours, make these 4 8 hours since they're so old, and then maybe like even up the stuff. Even if they want to give us the same stuff over again, up the stuff that you're giving us at the very least. But I rest my case. Next point. Now y'all knew this one was coming, bro. What do you think I'm about to say, chat? Fix that pity. Okay, 25 summons for every single character in the game is kind of fucking ridiculous. And I'm just not, hadn't thought about it. I was just like, okay, honestly, bro, here's my philosophy. JJK's universe in the anime is just an evil fucking world. So I was just like, yo, this makes sense. 25 multis to get pity, and you want 3,000 cubes each multi? I was like, yo, that's some evil ass shit. Fits perfectly. Never thought about it. Didn't care. But now that I'm actually here summoning for all these characters, I'm like, bro, you have characters who come out on limited banners? Okay. Obviously, this is a standard banner character, but they treated him like a limited character when he first came out. Same thing for Geto, same thing for Toji. We still don't have them in a proper free-to-play standard banner update. They are now in a banner on the JP version right now, but that you have to pay for that banner to summon on it, and it's only one summon, so it's not even like that crazy, right? And plus they added even newer characters to that banner, so we still do not have a solid second standard banner update yet. But even still, just doing these summons just makes me realize, I'm like, bro, you're gonna treat this character like a limited character, and then you're gonna treat this character like a regular character, or this character's dog shit. This character is incredible. These are not the same tier of character. And even the characters that come out after the anniversary, I'm not going to make the argument that they're the same tier as like, not Hollow Purple, Hidden Inventory Gojo, but yet they want me to summon 25 times for either tier of character. There is no tier system to the characters. Even limited characters cost the same amount of multis as a regular character. If you want to know what I think, regular characters should be like 15 multis or some shit at best, because these characters be dog, like, bro, the first few random characters that they released, it was a mixed bag, bro. Like on the JP version, they were just all dog shit until Domain Megumi came, and then, you know, Hollow Purple Gojo and Momo, like those 3, right? But they came spread out, right? Those guys got rammed down our throat, pause, whenever the game started, because they were just throwing out characters that were important that they knew people would summon for, bum rush for, whatever. Cool. But every single character that releases like Momo or Hollow Purple Gojo or Incomplete Domain Megumi are not on that level. A lot of them are dog shit. And since a lot of them are dog shit, I think that in general, characters of that class should cost like 15 multi-summons, which would be 4,500 cubes? Yes. Do you hear how much better 4,500 cubes sounds than 7,500? Like, bro, right now, I'm not even a third of a way to pity. If it were 4,500 cubes, I'd be halfway. I'd be like, hey, yo, we kind of up right now. But like, that's not the case, because you want me to save 3,000 cubes per multi Yet, every story event only provides 25 40 cubes, every map event provides 29 40 cubes, and every memory quest provides 1100 cubes. We don't have anything like Cheeky Cursed Explorers out yet. We don't have the Event Parade Marathon, or Event Marathon campaign at all yet. So it's just like, where are all these extra cubes coming from that you're asking for, Billy? I'm curious. I'm very curious. Oh yeah, you want me to play the vanilla experience of never summoning ever and just using your free tickets and praying to the heavens and the gods, which I don't have to do that because I'm the Culture Whisperer. But even still, besides the point, this is not about me, people. This is about everybody. This is about the community here, right? So regular characters, I think bare none, 15 multis at most. 15 multis at fucking most, because these characters be misses sometimes. The characters that they're releasing now are pretty solid, but even still, you still have limited characters. And I even think they're still gonna add carnivals, like cursed carnivals, cursed spirit carnivals, Jujutsu Sorcerer carnivals, whatever, right? And if they add the carnivals and those cost like 30 summons versus 25, grimiest shit I've ever seen in my life. If you add a new tier of character into the game and then make those cost more, but the first 2 tiers of characters you had, you didn't differentiate those 2, that's some scummy ass shit. But we'll see how it rolls out. But definitely, regular characters need to be like 15 multis at most. Limited characters, honestly, 20 multis. And then when you release carnivals in the future, those should be like 25 summon banners. And honestly, 25 is still crazy, but I can't complain too much about 25 because in Grand Cross, it's like usually any banner you need like 300 summons, so 30 multis. And then some banners you need like 20 multis, some banners you need like even less. So it's just like, at least Grand Cross has some sort of like distinction, some sort of differentiation. It may not be the best, but at least they are differentiated in some capacity. Okay guys, the next thing that I want to talk about, this is going to be one of the things that they're going to incorporate from the show eventually, or going to have to incorporate eventually, right? Now, what am I talking about here? Binding vows. Binding vows pretty much allow you to make an agreement with your soul, I guess, or make some sort of like rule that you cannot break. But if you do not break that rule, you get a big power buff pretty much in return, right? An example of like a binding vow is Nanami's binding vow, that whenever he's working as a Jujutsu Sorcerer, or like clocked in as a Jujutsu Sorcerer, his cursed energy is at a certain level, but then whenever he has to continue to be a sorcerer past a certain time, when he would be clocked out, he calls it overtime, and his cursed energy literally amplifies beyond 100% of what he actually has. Which honestly, that's confusing in itself, because if he can push to that level, doesn't that make that his 100%, and then he can push past even that level? It should theoretically infinitely stack. I don't know, but besides the point. Binding vows, right? What would a binding vow look like in this? So, there is something in the game which you probably didn't think of when I said binding vow that looks pretty close to binding vows, actually. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here we are, courtesy of Black Flash, shout out to him. I've definitely watched his channel for a few guides before, but here he's doing SP battle, which is pretty much battles against formidable enemies. I don't think that we're getting this on our Jogo that's coming in the next few hours here, or honestly in the next hour and a half here, but SP battle essentially allows you to choose extra modifiers for the fight and make the fight harder. But in return for you making the fight harder, you get a higher grade, you get better rewards when you win, I believe. But that is the closest thing to binding vows in this game that I can think of, because literally, you're setting certain rules, and from those certain rules, you get extra benefits or detriments, however you want to look at it, right? But this is not what I'm talking about. This is just the closest example I could give you. What I think binding vows would look like is, say like you get a special event in the future, or from now on, right? Any type of special event, whether it be formidable battle, you know, map events, story missions, memory, whatever, right? Say there are certain characters who are boosted in that event, right? You could go into the event and say, for instance, okay, the rate boost is like, or the character that came out is like a green character, you know, and then green characters are going to be the ones who boost your chances, right? Say you have that new character right here where Gojo is, right? And when you go into the mission, you can either give binding vows to this one special event character to make them not as good but get more rewards, or make them a little bit better so you can get through your runs faster, but then it's also a little bit it's way easier to do, but you get less rewards on the drop pretty much if you made them way stronger, right? And what does that look like? So say the character is like Hollow Purple Gojo. Okay, cool. You cannot use the Hollow Purple, but your debuff does more. The debuff is stronger now, or you can't use your debuff, but now Hollow Purple hits like 500% harder or something like that. Just something super simple, something super basic, right? But it's just like that way you can kind of tweak how many medals you're getting per run you do, and it's just a little something that gives players a sense of more control in the game, more fine-tuning of their experience, because at the end of the day, this is a game. Games are made for your enjoyment, and if you can tweak the game to the very smallest pieces, then I feel like that's a really fun experience, because you can fine-tune your experience 100%. I don't really have anything too much more on Binding Vows. I just thought that would be cool to conceptualize for you guys and just kind of take a crack at how it would look when it comes in. But no, I would definitely love it to be like, oh, okay, I can make this harder or easier for this one character, and depending on if it's harder, more stuff, more rewards, yay. If it's not as hard, then okay, less stuff. It'd be like that. But faster runs, it would probably equalize, balance out either way. Next up on the list, guys. So I remember in the last video I talked about them doing like a raid sort of game mode. I've kind of more so gone in detail with the raid sort of game mode. So I call it domain battle, right? And what domain battle would look like would be like, okay, every single stage of so for instance, with Sukuna, he has Dismantle, he has Cleave. I'm pretty sure he has to do his domain before he can do Fuga. That's like the requirements for it. But even still, this is a gacha game. They're allowed to take liberties and change things around as they wish, right? So what would domain battle look like? Okay, say there's like a normal stage against like base Sukuna, and he's like, his main focus of that stage is using like the Cleave, it's just really high damage, right? Then let's say the second stage of Sukuna is like he does Cleave and Dismantle, and while he's like taking away your HP with the Cleaves, he's also taking away like your cursed energy with the Dismantle, just so that there's two fronts that he's attacking you on, and you have to kind of like strategize around that a little bit more. Then let's say you get to stage 3, and all of a sudden this man has like Fuga, and he has like a countdown attack that he can release on you after a certain amount of turns, or after his cursed energy gets up to a certain degree or something like that. And then let's say like stage 4, so that would be normal, hard, or let's look at domain investigation, or I can't look at it right now because I'm in there waiting for the next ×2 drop, which will be in a few hours, because I got them fucking strats on me, chat. But ooh, chat strats, come on, dude, y'all gotta go down below and like for the bars. But anyway, literally, let's say the 4th level of domain battle. Okay, cool. Now you're trapped inside of Sukuna's domain. He has a short hit effect. The Fuga is strong, like all of his stuff became stronger, but now you also have the fact that like you cannot defeat his domain unless you have a character who has like a stronger domain or an equivalent domain, because who has a stronger domain is Sukuna. But even still, it'd just be really fun, I think. Now free-to-play players are probably hearing me break this down, and they're just like, oh, what? Fun? Hell no, I can't beat that. Dog, as a free-to-play player, as a casual player, can I tell y'all something? You're not meant to beat every single hard game mode that comes out. The hard game modes that come out are for the whales to beat instantly and make YouTube videos on, and then entice all of you free-to-plays and casuals to be like, ooh, I want to do that. And then when you go to try it and you get smacked in your fucking face, you have to go back and you have to grind your account, which gets you more playtime, which gets them more stats. That's how it works. You're not supposed to be able to beat this as soon as it comes out if you are a not lower tier player, that sounds so bad, a less serious player, I guess, because let's be real. If you spend money and somebody else doesn't, you are more serious about getting your account polished nice and pristine. That's just how it works. The more effort you're willing to put into it, and by effort, the effort means a lot of things. Free-to-play players put in time, yes. Pay-to-win players put in time, they put in money, they had to look up countless videos, which free-to-play players do too, but like, they had to beat all this stuff and make their money. Like, it's like, once you put the money into it, the commitment is just so much more, because you're like, now I'm paying for this experience. I'm not paying to lose, I'm paying to win, so I need to win. Once you spend money, the amount of investment you have to put in on the videos and everything to make sure that you're winning and everything, to make sure that your money is not wasted, is another thing. And then, again, if you're not even a content creator, don't even need to spend in these games, bro. But like, if you are a content creator, even more so. Then you have a appearance to uphold for players and everything. So it's just like, once you are at the point that you're spending money, you are more serious about the game. And since you're more serious about the game, what you are rewarded with is being able to beat the newest stuff a little bit faster than free-to-play players, or a lot faster. Who cares? The stuff will be out in the game forever, except for like, you know, formidable battles and stuff. But I mean, like, low-key, that cycles back through. It always reruns and everything. Even if you have not been able to beat any of the imaginary battles or formidable battles, even if you have not been able to beat any of those on the highest level, your time in the sun is coming, my boy. Just trust me. It'll happen eventually. You will be able to beat it eventually. It's not a forever, I won't be able to touch this type of thing. Like, eventually you will, and it'll be a grand occasion once you are able to do that. But domain battle, I think, would be really cool. Just a building of different gimmicks through different fights, and then when you get to the top fight, it's just like all the gimmicks, and then you're trapped in a domain. And honestly, domain battle being broken down leads me to my next point. They gotta incorporate simple domains or domain amplification. Now, one character that I think people are hype about is probably Kusakabe, Atsushi Kusakabe. Is that his name? I don't know his first name, but I know his last name is Kusakabe. I can remember that because Shinra's name is Kusakabe from Fire Force, and Fire Force is fire, no pun intended. Anyway, Kusakabe is a master of barrier techniques and has no curse technique at all, but is like the strongest grade 1 sorcerer, which is impressive in its own right. And I've seen him do stuff in the manga, which, hey bro, it didn't really get him that far, but when you consider the situation he was in, it was still impressive. He had the balls to do what he did. But he is a master of simple domains, and like, simple domain essentially allows you to nullify the sure hit effect of a domain while inside of a domain. It attacks the edge of the domain directly, or no, I think that's the falling shadow falling emotion, falling blossom emotion, which is shared through the 3 families and everything. But Naobito Zenin did that in the Shibuya incident, so I didn't spoil anything there. But simple domain and domain amplification. Domain amplification essentially allows you to pretty much do a very short range domain, literally just around your body. It's kind of like Hatsu, right? Around your body. So technically you're not inside of somebody else's domain, you're inside of your domain. So the sure hit effect does not work on you anymore, right? So if they added in domain amplification or simple domain, how would that look? Okay, simple domain, they would have specific characters who can do simple domain, and maybe, for instance, the characters who do simple domain also taunt, right? So then all of a sudden, when Sukuna is doing Fuga, right, you have simple domain on, and that character's taunting, and the Fuga misses that character. Just some way that can work. And the reason why I introduced domain battle first is because if you have some form of domain removal, then you need more fights that utilize domain more. I believe there's fights against, yeah, if you do Mahito's fight or any Jogo fight, any fight against the Cursed Spirits, pretty much, those fights, you will end up inside of their domain at some point. But wouldn't it be a lot more interesting, my sweats, my grinders, and my serious players, come on, unionize with me. Wouldn't it be super fire for you to go through 4 stages where through the first 3 stages they add extra gimmicks, and you're getting an understanding? That's cool too, because you're getting an understanding of the fight piece by piece as you work your way up, and then by the time you get up, it's a matter of layering all of the pieces together and understanding fully what you're dealing with, right? So I think, again, super cool concept. Simple domain, again, you can taunt the character who's doing the domain, take a big attack if there is a big attack or something like that, or maybe you could at least have like an effect where it says whenever your simple domain is active, mitigates this percentage of damage for all of your team. Domain amplification would probably work a little bit differently, where it would be like, because domain amplification is a technique at the end of the day. Anything that you can learn, polish, master is going to be a technique at the end of the day by definition, right? But at the end of the day, domain amplification does function very differently in the sense that it's more like a aura type of thing, where simple domain actually makes a little zone around you and people can see that. Domain amplification is more of an aura around you, right? So I think that one would more so be like some characters would just release and they would have the capability to do domain amplification, and when they do domain amplification, they just have to get their cursed energy to a certain point, and then from that point on, sure hit effects just don't affect them. Now, then you have to be careful with those characters too, because you got to make sure you're not using too much cursed energy, because once you lose that domain amplification, it's a little gap that the enemy can break through, and pop, you're getting Fuged, bro. I don't know what to tell you. But Damn, dude, I need to design games. That shit sound kind of fun. When that man Sukuna hit you with the Fugaruga, what you gonna dooga? I don't know. But let's go to the next point. Next point that I want to make is they could incorporate some form of actual, like, true co-op. Now, there's not really anything in the game that looks like this because they did co-op once on the global version. I don't think they've ever done that on the JP version because when they did that on the global version, all the JP players were like, hey, yo, what the hell? Where's that for me, cousin? But, literally, true co-op, what I mean by that is, like, say, because, bro, Jujutsu Kaisen, you know what me and my homies call Jujutsu Kaisen for real? We call that shit jump Kaisen, bro. Because you don't go into a fight in Jujutsu Kaisen without jumping something. Like, bro, these curses are dangerous. The curses that they're pulling up on, bro, that they really have to plot on, they're like special grade at the least, bro. So literally, they go in with a homie because it's just like, yo, we gotta jump this man. There is no way, bro. Hanami pulled up, Yuji and Todo were in that ass. But before Yuji and Todo were in that ass, it was Maki and Fushiguro, and then, or no, it was Fushiguro, Kamo, and Inamaki. Then Maki tagged in. Then Todo tagged in with Yuji, right? So like, bro, that is like 6-7 people right there. Jumping that one, I was about to say one boy, Hanami's a girl. But jumping Hanami, right? Okay, Jogo got beat up by, bro. The only time you ever see somebody fight in 1v1 is when they're getting challenged by somebody who is far weaker than them. Jogo challenged Gojo, 1v1, Jogo got washed. Jogo challenged Sukuna, or tried to help Sukuna, and then Sukuna was like, nah, bro, we're gonna duke it out for real. Just cause that man's mayhem itself, and literally not even close, right? But then Toji v Fushiguro, not even close. Toji v Dagon, not even close. That doesn't even count as a jumping. Jogo did reverse jump one time though, when he pulled up on Maki and Nalabito and Nanami and all that shit, but like even still, you understand what I'm saying. Most of the time in JJK, if you see people in curses in the same area, there's multiple people in one curse. And that curse is getting jumped, my boy. And what would the true co-op look like? I'm not gonna lie, I have been kind of like easing off of solo leveling again because I'm just so excited for what JJK is gonna transform into. So I've been fixating more on that. But even still, in solo leveling, they have this game mode, the raid on Jeju Island, I think. And literally on the raid on Jeju Island, I go into the mission, and as I'm in the mission, I don't see the other players that are there with me, but like literally to get into the mission, you have to matchmake and everything. I don't see the other players that are in the mission with me, but I do see on the side their damage progress. And as their damage progress goes up, in live time, the boss's HP goes down to let me know how much more work I need to put in. And they literally show your scores and move them according to who's first and who's not. I'm doing the wabi-sabi there. I don't know what that was. But literally, if they had a game mode like that in JJK, bro, I love that. And literally, curses get jumped all the damn time. And like I said, all these curses they're pulling up on are like special grade at least, bro. They could definitely incorporate something like that where they're adding in true co-op. And honestly, Domain Battle could incorporate true co-op. There could be a co-op mode, there could be a solo mode. And also, one thing I forgot to say about Domain Battle, they could be a thing at the end where there's like scores to it, and like whoever has the highest score gets the best rewards, etc., etc., etc. Next thing that I want to talk about, what if, guys, hear me out. There's some space up here, right? What if they move these up a little bit, left the recollection bits down here where they were, and then this slot on your character actually wasn't for a recollection bit, but it was for a support character, a support unit, which honestly is perfect that I was just talking about people jumping curses all the time in JJK, because that even strengthens this point right here. Imagine you had characters that you could put as supports on different characters, right? And get different effects from these characters. So like say you put like well, not Geto, but like say you put Megumi right here under Gojo, right? And all of a sudden Gojo has, and supports can be the same as the characters up here because the roster of characters. So what game am I knocking this from? Obviously I'm knocking it from Grand Cross, right? But in Grand Cross, there's a much more diverse cast of characters. In JJK Phantom Parade, the cast of characters is quite small. There's just a lot of different versions of characters, and characters have different awakenings and stuff. So I would say that you would definitely be allowed to put the same character right here as one of the characters that are already on your team. But say, like, for instance, okay, Shoko has support for a support Ichiji, and it's like the team is called like Jujutsu Society Support Staff or some shit like that, and all of a sudden Shoko's got better heals, but along with better heals, Shoko can also increase your ultimate gauge, or Shoko can now increase your increase your cursed energy or something like that. Let's say Gojo has like Megumi or Nobara or Itadori or something like that down here, right? Then, you know, Gojo's thing can turn from this to like, okay, my students are watching, and then all of a sudden Gojo's hitting a lot harder, or maybe like one of Gojo's skills work a little bit better because if his students are watching, he's going to be a lot sharper. Because if you are a mentor and your students are watching, you're going to try to pummel the enemy as much as you can and make the enemy look as weak as possible to build up a sense of confidence in your students' mind and make them understand like, okay, this is achievable. We can get here. We can beat this man, right? Say Megumi has like a Itadori down here, and it's just like don't die on me or some shit like that, and like he has better defense or something like that. Because Megumi be acting like he don't care about his life for real, but like when Yuji come around, he be like, all right, bro, I care about my life again for real. Kamo, I don't really know who he would have as a link. I guess maybe like Mekamaru or something like that. I mean, anybody from the Kyoto school, right? But Kamo doesn't really strike me as anybody who has like really deep character connections with anybody for real. And then Momo, obviously, it would be Momo be glazing Mai for real. I mean, like it's in the pudding, bro. Yuji could literally have Toto as a that's the real reason why I said this, bro. Yuji and Toto, and what it would be called, besto friendo. Yuji would just become way better, honestly. Yuji would just become all around better at that point. But I won't divulge on this point too much more. I'm pretty sure y'all understand exactly what I'm saying when I say this, and y'all know that this shit makes sense. Come on now. Like I said, people get jumped all the time in JJK. So you might as well make it look like that. Okay, cool. It's like I'm going in with a team of 5 people. But when I've seen people get ran up on by 9 people at one time in JJK, then I'm over here like, all right, bro, give me some support characters so that I'm running up with 8 people, and then there's 2 people on layaway in case I need it, bro. But let's move to the next point. Tower. Okay, we already know they're adding more floors to Tower, obviously. JP's version is literally getting floors 61 through 80 in the later half of April. For their version 2.3.0 update. So honestly, we are still 10 floors behind right now. We're missing 51 through 60, which would give us, I believe, a character shard, a character universal dupe shard. So not an entire like dupe crystal, but a shard for the crystal. But I'm really close to creating the whole crystal, so whenever they drop floor 60, hey bro, let me know. But what I think they will do for Tower is obviously shoot all the way up to 100, but I'll be real with you, I'd prefer them after they get to 100 to just start Tower on hard mode, because if you go past 100, it's just like the cursed energy levels that you're gonna need to get to are gonna be ridiculous. That would be like the equivalent of if they didn't add a hard story mode to solo leveling Arise, right? If it was just a regular story mode, and then literally they made like extra just like game original missions, and the game original missions were just far harder than the original story mode in the first place, right? No, that wouldn't be desirable for people. That way, if there's a hard and a regular mode, you can farm them in tandem. If you're a free-to-play player and you're not fully through this, you know, you can kind of go back around to hard and do the first few stages at least. You probably make it half as far as you are on the regular Tower, but even still, it gives you an option to make a lateral move instead of trying to force your way through these really, really hard stages when sometimes you're not going to have these units, right? So they could introduce a hard mode, and literally, I already did the math. Like, guys, the way that I like I try to create gacha games, or I'm making a gacha game. I'm in the process of like designing a gacha game that I would like to see played, right? So what I typically do is I will look at something like this, right? Okay, for instance, combat power is like 1.24. So for me, what I think hard mode is just like, obviously the fight gets harder, but like obviously the CP requirement is going to be a proportional amount larger, right? So if you times 124,825 times 1.5, you get 187k. So let's try. Actually, that doesn't sound too crazy. To get to floor 50 on hard mode, and it be 1.5 times harder versus 2 times harder, I think is somewhat reasonable. Now, I know I just multiplied the CP requirement by 1.5, but like, if it was 1.5 times harder, I mean, how do they even multiply difficulty in these games? More health, more stats. And with those more health and more stats, they had 1.5 times more stats and health. Wouldn't the CP go up by 1.5? That's my philosophy with that, right? So I'm just like, 1.5 puts this like 187k. I feel like if I work my way through hard tower and get all the way up to floor 50, 187k is probably a reasonable number to look at. If you wanted to go a little more tame with it, you could do 1.25 times this number, and then you would get, I did this math the other day, 156? Yes, 156k, which honestly, that actually does sound like pretty like fair. I think across the board for even free-to-play players, I feel like even free-to-play players, like, think about it theoretically. If you had a hard mode and had to work your way back from 1 all the way up to 50, and by the time you got to floor 50, this was 156k, bro, that would honestly be like a cakewalk, I think. If you could beat this, 156k is not gonna be that much harder, bro. It's the extra 30k CP. And by the time they add hard mode tower in, do you know how much extra stuff they're gonna add in? Extra level caps, hidden potential system, full realizations, all that, blah, 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 getting added in, like, bro. So, hard mode tower is definitely on the table, I believe. And man, this just gave me really bad memories of Black Clover Mobile, because I'm like, dude, they had the tower kind of game mode, or not tower, it was a tower, and then they had the hard tower in the game from the start, and then when people started to catch on and realize that they were on bullshit and they weren't really trying to develop a game, they were really just trying to get money for the breakers. I'm salty about that, yes, I'll always say that in detail. That is definitely what they were doing. Right. Once you realize that's what they were doing, then they got rid of the hard mode tower and never even updated it, never even did anything to it, never even opened it up for us or anything. But it is what it is, man. We are 2 points away from being done with this list, and these last 2 points are very quick. All right, guys, this one right here, simple. I believe, okay, we already have ultimate or domains. Okay, for instance, we have Megumi's domain, which, what does it do? Obviously, it does the domain. Each domain has like a different effect, but I mean, like, what does it do to the character? What Megumi's domain does to him is it changes the curse energy efficiency on his skills and changes the effects of his skills. All right, cool. What does domain expansion do for Mahito? For Mahito, domain expansion literally changes all of his skills and gives him sure hit effect. Okay, who else in here has a domain that I own? Oh, great. Oh, Hanami. Hanami's domain just makes it so that you take way less damage. But what does it do to Hanami? It doesn't really do anything to Hanami. But even still, you can see that domains have different things that they do to the character that cast the domain. So the next thing that I think the next step for domains is domain ultimates. Because we've seen domains change all of your skills, we've seen domains change your skill efficiency, we've seen domains not do shit. Why not just give your domain an ultimate as well? And the reason why I say this is because of my earlier point in the video. For Sukuna to do Fuga, he has to do his domain first. That is one of the requirements. He's broken that down, he stated that. So, if you had a Sukuna that did his domain and then went inside of his domain, he can charge up to his ultimate, or I guess the ultimate would have like a 2-turn cooldown, because domains usually last for like at least 3 turns, I think. And I've read the domain effects, and it says 4 turns on Jogo, I think, but I don't know why I brought up Jogo randomly, but I mean, Hanami says 4 turns as well. Is Megumi's 4 turns? Is everybody just 4 turns? I don't know. I don't pay that much attention. You know, Deadman be getting to work now, you feel me? I pop that domain out and the enemy dies before the domain out. You know what I'm saying? The enemy dies before the domain is done. But literally, domains last for 4 turns. So say Sukuna you had a new Sukuna who had his domain, and he does his domain, and then 2 turns in his domain, you see an ultimate that has like a little cooldown, or maybe even 3 turns into his domain, just to make sure you can't cheese or anything. But 3 turns into his domain, you're allowed to use like an ultimate, which is like Fuga, right? That'd be really cool, and it would make a lot of sense, because obviously with Sukuna needing to set up Fuga first, it just makes sense for him. But I've also seen, I can think of 3 other situations where characters have used their domain expansion to set up another attack. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it gets to a point where, okay guys, let's be transparent here. You know the big bad they're going to have to fight at the end is Sukuna. You know it's Sukuna because Sukuna is sealed away while Kenjaku is at large. If Kenjaku was the final boss, do you think they would be letting him run around as much as he is right now? No. So obviously Sukuna is going to be the final boss. Man's the scourgiest scourge in all of history, brother. Get it through your head. So, if Sukuna is what you're fighting, I'm sorry, just using the domain expansion on him just doesn't fucking work anymore. Domain expansion doesn't become a sure hit anymore. It becomes extra insurance to make sure that you don't die instantly. So what do I mean by that? I'm not even going to explain what I mean by that, because then I get into manga spoilers. But nonetheless, domain ultimates make a lot of sense, and I just think that we don't have any characters just yet who are strong enough to show like, okay, doing a domain, or rather, characters in the game who will be this strong. I feel like characters who can do a domain and then do an ultimate right afterwards would low-key be at least Culling Games level. But before the Culling Games, just releasing characters that can do that, I feel like that would break the game, literally. But hey, this is a list about things that could break the game. So, let's talk about our last little point here, and then I'll wrap it up, and I'll let you guys get back to whatever you're getting to. And honestly, I might be very optimistic, but I do believe in my ability to finish editing this video before I live stream. So if you were watching this video, I'm probably live right now. Well, if you're watching this video on the 28th. But if you're watching this video at any point after that, you're fucked. Anyway, the last thing that I wanted to say was, nobody knows, or actually, yeah, everybody knows who Hikari is. Nobody knows who Hikari is for real, but everybody has heard about Hikari. If you don't remember, during the Tokyo and Kyoto, the Sister School Exchange event, that's what it's called. During that event, they talked about the fact that Hikari was not participating in the event because he was suspended from the Jujutsu Sorcerer School. How much of an ego, how dastardly of a person do you have to be to get suspended from Jujutsu Society? Also, Gojo literally, and honestly, they can't really do anything to Gojo, but like, Gojo literally pulls up on the higher ups, talks to them like, yo, if I got a switch on y'all, I will. Like, Gojo says stuff like that to them, and he didn't get suspended as a student. He didn't get suspended. I mean, they can't suspend. I feel like even though you're like at where you're at, like you still can get suspended or some shit. And honestly, they was trying to get rid of Gojo after Gojo got put in the box. You saw the orders they put out. So all I'm saying, bro. But at the end of the day, Hikari. All you need to know about Hikari is that man's fever for gambling is unmatched, and that man runs a fight club. I think that they are gonna make I think they are gonna make a Hikari fight club type of campaign, whether it be you directly fighting in the fight club, or whether it be like the Cheeky Curse Corpse Explorer stage, where you use stamina and you get these little battery charges and you can use them to move around on the map. Okay, maybe Hikari's fight club is like, there's tiers of rewards and how many fights you do. So like, say every time you're not getting points for the stamina you're using, but for the number of stages you're beating. Say you beat a certain number of stages, you get a certain number of coins or something, you can go to Hikari's shop and trade it in. Literally, Hikari's domain is like gambling and shit. So it's like Hikari is gambling the character pretty much. He is gambling the character. They are going to have something around that man. Hikari is too monumental of a character for them not to have something around him. And honestly, I think that every special grade that they introduce into this game changes the game in some way, shape, or form. Look at all these special grades right here. All of them kind of be destroying the game for real still to this day. And honestly, this is a pretty solid lineup for DPSs. Got not the best red DPS in the game. I'd say him and Toji are maybe like tied at the moment, right? Best yellow DPS in the game. Yeah, is he still the best blue DPS? Currently? In global? I guess. And then Hollow Pepper Gojo is still definitely the strongest, like, you know, green character in the game. But it's like, dude, Hikari, Fight Club, extra rewards. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. That's it for the video of extra stuff that I wanted to see added into the game. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video like you enjoyed the first one. I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed recording this video way more than the first one. I just had a lot more fun really like thinking out these different things they could add in and just seeing how it could be a very unique thing. But if you guys did enjoy, go down below, smack that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get tapped with the Deadman every single time I drop a video or live stream, and comment down below and let me know what else you want to see. But also, go join my live stream right now. And again, if it's past, honestly, I said if it's the 28th for you, and if it's the 28th past like 3 a.m. you probably missed the stream, but that's okay. I am basically guaranteed to stream like every Friday because that is when they always drop our updates. So you guys have an excellent life. Peace out.